Hello, I'm Sinead, and welcome to another Craft and Chat. Yeah, there for a second I forgot where I was. In the week, in the day, I don't know. But today I'm going to work on rerouting a Sindy doll. I got another Sindy doll that didn't have nearly the amount of fragrance on it, and so she's been airing out, and I think that I can reroute. She was in a rough shape. So we're going to do that. But first I wanted to say that I only just finished up the Friday video. I don't know if you're aware that I do the videos a week in advance, or at least I try to get them finished a week before they're scheduled to air. And so the dollhouse video that you would have seen on Friday, I just finished, or will see on, I don't know. It's too confusing for me right this minute. and so that means that I didn't get it done a week in advance. I got it done just in time. And I also just listed some new items in the shop. So go check that out, and be ready for the October 1st shop drop of spooky season items. And I am also working on possible collaboration with somebody. I don't know if that's going to work out, so that will determine when the cat pattern and video become available. But it will come out eventually. It just depends on that timeline. So let's turn around the camera and get started on Sindy's reroute. I forgot to mention that the Sindy dress pattern, which is the dress, it's not over here, but I've listed the dress pattern for the knitted dress. But I'm working on a cat suit, and we've got the body and the armholes, which will have sleeves, and one leg finished. And so far, we've not had to redo it too terribly many times. A few, always a few. And actually, I've lost count of how many times I've taken it out and started over. But the leg worked out pretty easily. I mean, I have, what do you call it? In the US, we call it the crotch. In the UK, I think they call it the crutch. The extra stitches that make it accommodate the fullness of the body. And I only had to redo that twice, so, you know, that's good. So hopefully I'll get this written up, and the pattern will come out as part of the October release. It's just one of many things that I am trying to get finished. So I've only done, I think, one other reroute on a plastic doll. I've done lots and lots of wigs, but I don't remember any other reroute except I added some hair to a Blythe so that she could have glow-in-the-dark hair. So on this, I'm using yarn. I am using a method that I saw on My Froggy's stuff, where you put the yarn in, knot it, and pull it back up, which is working pretty good. I was going through my needles, and this is a bodkin with a large eye, and it's really easy to thread with the yarn, but it's a little short. So that's been interesting, and I know that it's going to become a problem. So I added a pencil line where I want the hairline to be, because when she was done in the manufacturing, they kind of went crazy here with the hairline. And I want to correct that a little bit. And I will probably give her more hair than she had originally. I can't imagine that being enough hair. But I am going to avoid her part line, because it looks like perforation ready to happen. And yeah, we're just going to avoid it. But my bodkin won't work when I get down to here. I'll have to switch to a different kind of needle, But as long as we're working in pre-punched holes, the bodkin works pretty good. I do have to still use a pair of pliers just to pull it through, and then make sure I don't pull it all the way through. And this is the putting a knot method that I saw my Froggy Stuff doing. I like it better than depending on the glue alone to hold the hair. I'm not a fan of glue wigs, glue hair, anything that involves depending on the glue to hold the hair in place. So my wigs are usually crocheted or done on the skin still of like a lambskin, or knitted or stitched in place. Like on a cloth doll, you can actually stitch it in place. I've used pieces of felt stitched in place. Lots of different types of wigs. I used to do, on the Waldorf style dolls, I used to do boucle that I crocheted up and then sewed in place. So we've only got a couple more holes going this direction where I can use this bodkin. And I think the holes are getting smaller as I go around her head. So she still has a little bit of the 1970s smell on her. She's from 78, Marx Sindy. And it's interesting to me as I, struggle with the presence of synthetic fragrance. New synthetic fragrances are a lot more damaging to my health than old ones. And it's odd, in my opinion, that so many of the things I get that are vintage have the same scent. And I can't place it. It just smells like the 1970s to me. And as a child, I wouldn't have been buying the fragrance, so well, I got lucky. It came through. But it came off the needle too. So this week because it took me so long to get through the cardboard dollhouse project I had planned, yeah, it's been the realization that I'm going to have to do something with less involved for next Friday. If it's on the cardboard dollhouse, it'll be a less involved project, at least from my perspective, maybe not yours. So I have 2 sail making needles. They are both longer than the bodkin, but they have smaller eyes. And I'd like to use the smaller of the 2, but I am questioning whether or not I can get the yarn through that easily. And I'm going to use a needle threader, but it can still get too complicated. I don't want to ruin the yarn threading the needle, because I don't plan on what is it? I don't plan on unraveling or combing out this. That's another thing about most of my wigs. I make them to where you can comb them out or brush them with like a dog brush. This, I don't plan on doing that with this wig or this reroute. My goal was just to leave it looking like twists or dreads. And you can see how thin it is right through here. That doesn't look realistic at all. So I'm thinking that I will do a row right behind, but offset from this first row. And my sail making needle went right through, no problem. Yeah, I set them down and then got them confused as to which was which. The other thing you can look for is a Glover's needle. I don't actually know if you can get sail making needles anywhere. Only because I had a sail maker in the family, Joey. do I have sailmaking needles. I've purchased Glover needles, which are very similar from Tandy Leather Company, but the upholstery needles that you can find at Joann's that have the curved needle and the couple of big needles that are similar to this, those would probably work. I looked in my container and I don't have those anymore. Apparently they have broken or walked away. So I don't have any upholstery needles in there except the curved ones that no one ever uses. And don't ask me why we don't touch it. Just never found a need. I just keep looking at this and going, oh my gosh, she's like bald. She's not, yeah. It's so thin. Getting impatient. I don't want to do the outside edge, and that's silly. I think I just picked up the other needle too. Did I do that? No, I'm gonna move this needle. There, now I won't risk picking it up. So I pre-cut all the yarn to 7 inches, and I may or may not trim it afterwards. You know, it might end up looking exactly shaggy. I don't know how I want it to look. I don't have too much of a preconceived idea of what I'm expecting here, which helps, you know, with the your expectations are open, so it turns out how it turns out, and that works for me most of the time. I rarely go into something with a completely preconceived idea of what it is I expect. When doing this type of stuff anyway. After you've done it a few times, you can't help but have a preconceived idea, but her eyelashes are still there and are in really good shape, so I'm trying to be very conscious of not accidentally sticking the needle in that, because it could destroy her eyelashes. There is on the inside of her head, there's a pretty sizable wad of material that is the back side of her eyelashes. So on dolls that have those kind of eyelashes, you want to be careful around them. Have you ever done a reroute? Is this something that you do a lot, at all, ever? I know Small Favors has done them, but I don't know about any of the rest of you. I have lost the needle now. Did I move it 5 feet to the... Did it get stuck in someone's hair? It's slightly magnetized, so I think it's snapping to whatever's close by that's metal. And don't ask me what the yellow piece of paper is. I actually don't know. It was on the desk. I probably used it yesterday. Oh, when I was listing stuff, I had to mark them. That's why I got it out. Now, you see, you heard the whole process of me figuring out what this is and why it's on my desk. So when I list things that are similar, and in the listing they're marked 1, 2, 3, 4 or A, B, C, D, I will put a piece of cardstock with the coordinating that's not it, with the number that is on the photograph of that item, to make it easier for me to find the right one when it sells. And I'm thinking about, since this is going to take forever, thinking maybe we'll take a break from you watching me do this and then come back when I've made it around the edge. Seems like a fair idea. Whoa. So we're halfway around the front. Come back when I've got it all the way around. Here's how the edge has finished off. And it's where I chose the line to follow and chose the spacing. It's a little thicker and a little better than the front where I used the factory spacing. So I'll probably go in and add some more there. And that'll happen at a later date because I need to switch gears again. I hope you have a delightful day and a wonderful week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.